All right, we are live. We are here. We've been here. The women had some things to say that they didn't want to share online, so I'm sorry. Actually, it's just a couple of crafty things that they're talking about. This is actually a pretty cool place to come and visit. Our women here are very crafty. They're so crafty, they're still talking crafts right now when we're trying to do church. But they are crafty women that need to be sitting down so we can do church. Welcome to the place. We are cruising for Jesus in style. See the shoes, see the bike? Oh yeah. Cruising in style today we are. We are actively looking for a new place to call the place. Something like that would be nice. Trees in the background, nice yard.
Are you moving?
The church is.
No, I meant, are you moving to where there's trees?
There's trees. We have trees in our place, so if we end up landing in our place, there'll be a couple of trees around. But.
Brad, I think you could build a little
Oh, I could.
on your property.
Oh, I'm sure I could. Anyway, I got a sore back today. Sorry for the grimace online. Anyhow, we're actively looking. For what it's worth, I'll mention it one more time. I really don't like mentioning this too much. But if you're interested in giving toward the move, that's always a nice thing. We have a few who've been doing this on a somewhat regular basis. We're creating an account, kind of what we call a move-in account. Anyway, that's just kind of what we're doing. So if you want to give toward our move, that's cool. If you want to just move with us, that's cool. Helping physically is very cool when it comes time for the move too. So just kind of throwing these ideas out there. Enough of that.
Is there an age limit on the helping part?
No, no, because there will be. And I was talking to Dennis about this today. There'll be multiple size boxes. There'll be small boxes because some small boxes, you know, you want to put delicate things in there, and plus that way everybody can help. There'll be medium boxes. There'll be large boxes for things like pillows and things. You know, we'll have large boxes, but it'll be for very light things. It will not be for heavy things. So anyhow, I'm kind of slowly doing this. The goal is I'll get this room down because we don't really use this much. And then we'll start stacking in the corner there. I'll probably pull the ping pong table back out and set that up so we guys can play ping pong during church. That way you can talk and play ping pong when I'm speaking. So that, you know, we can do all that. But what we're trying to do is kind of get it organized. Less than 3 months, and I don't want to make this a job for anybody. I kind of want to get it organized, realizing, okay, this is what we're going to need to move, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, communion today, bread, juice, and worship. We worship in communion. Communion is an act of worship. When you think about it, there's no greater form of worship than to take the elements and think of who Christ is, what He's done, and what He continues to do for us. So again, we will be doing communion today. All right, today's message. The importance of understanding what we don't understand. Think about that for just a second. The importance of understanding what we don't understand. We've been talking for the last few weeks. This might be the last one. I might do one more. We've talked a lot about friendship and character, developing our character, holding on to friendship, the importance of friendship, being a friend, understanding how to be a friend. In friendship, we develop character traits. It's really important. Some of our closest friendships can be strained and even broken forever. We don't want that. Right now, we're living in a time of restoration from the COVID anxieties, the COVID shutdowns. Seems like there might be an uptick. Maybe it's just a wave. It's just a natural kind of wave that sometimes things happen, then they subside. Sometimes things hit and then they take off. We don't know what to do here. But what I do know is that because of the COVID, it has affected friendships. It has affected character. And all of us. Some it has affected positively, all right? I'm not saying everybody's screwed up. Some people have actually really grown in character because of this time. Some have really grown in friendships. You really have gotten closer because of this time. What I want to explain today, or at least try to talk about a little bit, is understanding. The third amigo, the third element of this, reminding ourselves why we are, who we are, where we are, and where we're going. How often does our lack of understanding someone's viewpoint crush our friendships or expose the character flaws we have? Why is that? Why is that? Why is it that we try so hard to understand what someone thinks or feels? Or why is it that we try so hard to express ourselves so they'll understand how we think or feel? Why is it? Why do we put so much effort and emphasis into making people understand us? Or why is it that we just don't understand? Don't understand the way you act. Don't understand what you're saying there, boy. Why is it that there's such emphasis, such pressure? Why is it so important? I want to look at understanding a little differently today. Imagine that. I want to look at something a little differently. I think understanding is a really, really, really important aspect, especially when we're talking gathering as a church, when we're talking at work, when we're talking with family. How about, before long, Thanksgiving will be here, and some will have a big family table where there's maybe brothers or sisters or aunts or uncles or moms or dads or girlfriends or boyfriends or, this person or that person. You all sit around the Thanksgiving table, and because of lack of understanding, there's a big fight. Or, just because the Cowboys lose again, because they always lose on Thanksgiving, somebody gets all upset because they're Cowboy fans, and the other person picks on them. I want us to look at understanding through a different lens today. And it's probably not even different for some of you. But I think understanding is really important, but I think the reason for understanding is off kilter. So this idea, let me go back to where I was. I have what might be a different idea for us today. One where we can gain ground on understanding and not lose friendships and continue our character development that will not only positively affect our surroundings, it'll create in us an ability to be at peace, to find true contentment, and deepen our love for our fellow man, especially those who we don't get along with. Now hear this. This is understanding. Deepen our love for those who we don't get along with, the ones that we talk about behind their back, and the ones who lie to us, they cheat us, and otherwise take advantage of us. I'm lumping all this into the group of understanding, and it starts, I believe, with this premise. Therefore, do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Understand the will of the Lord. This is where it starts. Understanding must go through this lens. When we try to understand everything in the worldly lens, it doesn't work. But when we try to understand what the will of the Lord is, I wrote this thought down. What is what you're focused on bringing the best out of you? Does it bring the best out of you what you're focused on? For example, retaliation would not be the best of you. So if you're focused on retaliating on somebody who's wronged you or has I'll just say it, a stupid opinion, They have a stupid opinion and you retaliate. That is not bringing the best out of you. Here's another understanding what the will of the Lord is. Does it glorify Christ? In all things, glorify Christ. In this idea, are you trying to understand someone's view even when it's wrong? You're just trying to understand it. You're not trying to fix it. You're not trying to correct it. You're just trying to understand it. Brad, come on, you're off base. Am I? How about Jesus and the woman caught in the act of adultery? Now, we know how Jesus would feel about that, correct? I mean, right? She was brought, thrown at his feet, and she wasn't just tenderly laid down. People were rough, especially with women back then. I mean, they were just rough with women. And then if you caught a woman in the act of adultery, you're basically, your thought is, you're a religious person, you've caught a woman in the act of adultery, you are ready to kill her, to stone her dead. Go. So you don't just kind of bring, hey, Lord, here, sit over here, sweetheart, we're going to talk to Jesus. They would have been dragging her, pushing her, kind of pummeling her. She was probably scratched up, beat up, bruised. Look what they did to Christ. I mean, come on. They were not tender or sweet people. None of us are we? When we are trying to make our point be understood. So they brought her in front of Jesus, and they wanted their point to be understood. And it says that he wrote in the dirt. I have a theory about what he wrote, but, it's just my theory. I kind of think maybe he was writing what their secret sin was. Somebody would pick up a rock, and maybe he wrote something. They went, oh, my goodness, and let down the rock and went. And then he wrote another, oh, my, how does he know? But Jesus, whatever he was writing, whatever he was doing, from the eldest to the youngest, they all laid down their rock and walked away humbly. And then Jesus, in his infinite love, kindness, and compassion, he looked at her and said, so where are your accusers? She says, they're not here. And this is understanding. This is understanding. Neither do I accuse you. Neither do I accuse you. I'm not going to allow a moment in time, and I don't care if they've been a million moments. I'm not going to allow that to undo all the good that God is doing in your life, and he has been doing in your life, all in your life. You just haven't paid time to pay attention to what God is doing. You've been on your own rail. You've been doing your own thing. Not that you've necessarily denied Christ, but you're not living the fullness of God in your life. Christ wouldn't say not denying me, but denying God at that aspect in time. Neither do I condemn you. Now go and sin no more. That's understanding. Understanding is taking the high road. Understanding is showing love and compassion and understanding, not condemning someone for their foolishness, their sin, their mistakes. He didn't, did he? He just said, hey, I'm not going to condemn you. I understand. You're human. I understand. You make mistakes. I understand. I want my love to get into you and allow my love to change you into the individual you were made to be. That's understanding. I looked up the word understand. This is kind of interesting. In this verse right here, understand means put facts together. Doesn't say condemn, doesn't say criticize, doesn't say prove your point. If you want to understand something, you just got to put the facts together. What does it mean? What's going on? What does it mean? And it means to arrive at a summary. Put the facts together, arrive at a summary, and this summary will be complete with life applications. That's where I'm going with understanding. As we get the understanding, how does it apply to our lives? That's what these three amigos are. That's where understanding comes into place with friendship and character. We understand, and we allow our understanding to mold us, to develop us, to raise our love levels. Hi, Julie. We're here. Julie didn't think we were here.
Good morning.
Good morning. She's the best, man. I tell you what, I just love Julie. She is the best. So, if we can allow our understanding of the situations of life to mold us, man, now we are developing our character. We are the person that everyone wants to be a friend with. We are going to draw people to us like water draws a hungry dog, thirsty dog. I don't know why I'm talking like a southerner today. Debbie got me going this morning. I'm giving her credit, actually. But it's incredible when we grasp what understanding doesn't mean you turn away from. I understand where you're going. You don't turn away from. Understanding is recognize what's going on in that situation and then going back to the Lord and say, Father, what do we do here? How do we handle this? I have some understanding in my life about certain things, about certain people, and about certain situations. And I'm not going to say I agree or disagree with them, but I'll tell you what, it makes for an interesting place of prayer. It really makes for an interesting place of prayer. And I've taken the place of prayer to go to a completely different place than I ever prayed before. I try to commune with God, and I have this thought in my heart, and I say, Lord, what do you think of this? Is there something I should say? Is there something I should do? Or you know what? Maybe I just want to just bring it to you, Lord, and straighten out my thinker. What's going on in my head? Because I want my heart to be like yours. As a matter of fact, I want my head to be like my heart, because I know my heart's good because Christ is in my heart. He schemes my heart. But my head gets in the way, so it doesn't always work. This is where the understanding goes. This is the problem child. If we could get this thing up here and be led by our heart instead of our head, the understanding would be so easy. Christ understood with his heart. I would like to propose an idea this morning, one that will help us to cement our friendships, develop our character into Christ-likeness. As we put the facts together, complete with life applications. All right, actually, it's not me, it's Paul, all right? This is Paul's idea, but I'm going to steal it. It's in his idea, in his letter to the Corinthians, the second letter. The first letter was very much a corrective letter. The second letter, he started to show love again, which is probably the third or maybe fourth letter, depending on how you study and who you believe. As a matter of fact, they think some of these letters are combo letters, but irregardless, it's considered 2 Corinthians. I think it will help us to understand those who we just don't understand, why they are doing, saying, acting the way they are, which seems contrary to what we perceive as how they should be doing, saying, and acting. I want to remind us of something really important right here, right now. Why we're here. Why we're not in heaven. There's one reason why we're still here. There's really only one reason. And often we forget this reason. Well, we know it, but we're not necessarily acting on it. We're here to get people saved. We're here to introduce people to Jesus. Not to force Christ down their throat, but to make him known, to scatter seed. right? Johnny Appleseed. We're throwing seed out there. We're throwing seed. And God has been tilling, He's been working the soil of people's hearts. And we're throwing seed, and sometimes that seed hits that rocky soil. It's not ready. Keep throwing the seed. Don't worry about it. Sometimes that seed will take root, grow up, and then blow away because it's dry. Hey, it's okay. Keep casting seed. Keep casting seed. When it hits the good soil, you'll be able to talk to that person and help them to understand what you believe in life and the importance of eternal life and not the do's and don'ts of life. I want to remind us all of something right here, right now. This is so true for me. I don't need you to tell me what I'm doing wrong. I know what I'm doing wrong. I don't need you to tell me. I know what I'm doing wrong. And I think you guys know what you're doing wrong too. I think you know. But what I need people to show understanding. And I'm going to get to what understanding is in just a second here. In Paul, the understanding, the love, the consideration, the kindness. See, we need to be reminded of friends and friendships. I got a call this week as somebody says, man, I miss you. I know, I miss you too, man. And we just talked for a bit. Just desperate. Just desperate. Could very easily spend time together. It's no challenge to get together. And yet, you want to say, well, I don't understand. I'm going to show you what understanding is here in a second through the lens of Paul. But understanding is not figuring it out and answering it. That's our finite understanding. Remember, it's putting facts together with life applications. This is what understanding is, according to biblical words. So here, when you get this phone call, because I've been praying in here for you people. You're welcome. I've been praying that God is going to give you opportunities, that friends, family, lost, knuckleheads that you bump into on the road, well, hopefully not literally with your car, but you interact with, people at work, people at the stores, these interactions that we have with other humans. I'm praying that God will just give you these opportunities to show this kind of understanding. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, for the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. When we understand that we're not here to fix people, we are not here to make things right. We are not here to correct the injustices of the world. We are here as ambassadors of God. He will move on your heart what He wants you to do. But believe me, He's got the whole world in His hand. He's got the whole thing. You know, if everybody loved each other, there would be no problems. But we take our opinions and our viewpoints and we force it on others, which create bigger problems. You don't think I know what I'm talking about? Shall we talk politics for a moment? Come on. Let's talk politics. Democrats on the left, Republicans on the right, I'll stand in the middle. Man, are we going to get along now, huh? You don't understand. For our light affliction. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be disagreements. You look at some of the words of Christ. There's always going to be the poor. The poor you will have with you always. There's always going to be illness. There's always going to be all these things. Jesus healed, but He only healed the people that God took Him to. It says that He died for many, not for all. Scripture says for many, because not all will accept it. He died for all of us, but not all receive the salvation of Christ. So he died for the many, not for the all. The all will go into a place of eternal torment and hell and separation from Christ and God. We are here when somebody upsets us. Understand this. This is the way it's going to be. Understand it. You're not going to change it. But when you can draw somebody to the love of Christ, he changes the situation and you become best friends. How can I say this? You should have talked to the 25-year-old Brad. He didn't sound like this. Nothing at all like this. He was a freaking loon. The most selfish, self-centered, egotistical, arrogant man ever. Yes, some of those qualities still sneak through at times. It's the battle. But man, when I was 25, look out. I was making good money and I was something special. But God changes the heart. And when you can allow the heart to take the place of the understanding, allow the understanding to come from the heart, not the head. The understanding in the head will always be challenging and difficult. We'll never understand why somebody acts this way. But when you allow the understanding to come from the heart, then you go, I have a passion and compassion for you. I care about you. I love you like Christ loves you. What can I do? I know what I can do. Let's have a cup of coffee and listen. Hey, let's just hang out. Let's just accept the people into our lives. Let's just love each other. Am I going long, dear? No. Okay. So I wrote these thoughts down, and then we'll end with this. When it comes to understanding. First, we need to understand why we are here. That's to introduce everyone to Christ. That's why. Well, yeah, but they don't all like it and they get upset. Yeah, it's all right. Keep doing it. Just introduce them. You don't have to preach at them. You introduce them through kindness. You don't pick up the stone to stone the lady caught in adultery. It's simple. There's simple things to help introduce people to Christ. And when it comes to family, take it up a notch. They're your family. They're not going to kick you out. And if they kick you out, they'll let you back in. You can always say, hey, I'm sorry. I won't do that anymore. Okay, then they let you back in and you go, Jesus really does love you. They're family. Take it up. Ratchet it up. Ratchet it up. Ratchet it up. They might be the only ones who possibly hear about Jesus from is you. Sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, moms and dads for some. Wives and husbands. Ratchet it up. Do it in love. But this is why we're here. Second, we need to remember that this could be a long journey with some. Could be a long journey. You might just have to develop a friendship over the long haul, because when you start talking to me, you're thinking, oh boy, that Satan shirt is probably going to take a while to get past. And that the guy that had those horns kind of implanted in his head, so we might need to just become buddies first and just hang out with them. Go to a ball game, find out what they like. Maybe they like a movie. Maybe they like going to ball games. Maybe they like I don't know, walks on the beach. Hang out with your friends. Hang out with this person. Recognize who God's drawing you to. You know how you recognize who God's drawing you to? Open your eyes. They're there. Guess what? He's drawing you to them. And then finally, when this goes on, we'll know at the end of the day, we can be sure that the character of Christ that is within us has been on display for all to see. I wrote this thought. There's a COVID effect on all our friends, on all our neighbors, on all our co-workers. on all those we happen to encounter daily, there has been a COVID effect. There is an emotional COVID effect. You don't have to try to figure it out. Understand that in your heart, people need Jesus more than ever. People who know Jesus need Jesus. I have good friends who confess Christ. And it's not like they're living a sinful life. I'm sure they have something going on. But it's just like they're so disconnected. They're crying out. They need us. Don't you want to be needed? You're needed. People need you desperately. We are the difference that the world needs. Positivity is infectious. I've been doing these morning hoo-has, encouragers, for nearly, this month will be 18 months. I do 6 a week. I started out doing 7, started out doing 15 minutes. Man, was that too long. But I had a lot to say. I really try to keep them at 5. They're about 6 usually. And I do 5 or 6 a week. And along with these things. And I'm saying this to you because I'm hearing from people who like it. Because it's just a positive ditty. Might blast Brad a little bit, some of my silliness. I also show kind of the things that God is doing in my life. And it's because it's God doing it. It isn't Brad. I just have become available. I'm just like, Lord, where are you taking me? Okay, let me share this. Because if anyone who knows, especially the friends from the past, they see me and they go, wow, if this can happen for Brad, it can certainly happen for me. Just be available. Just be positive. It's infectious. And it isn't, if you post, if you're online, it isn't positive 87% of the time. It's not. Not 87%. It's not 72. It's not 94. It's 100. Do we need to go back? We'll go back. Understand the will of the Lord. His will for our life is to be positive. The world needs us to be positive. Understanding is from the heart, not the head. Jesus loved all. Jesus listened to God. In Jesus' understanding, he didn't escape. He faced the trial. He wrestled with the outcome. Jesus wrestled with it. He submitted to God. He saved you and I. He saved you and I. What are we doing with this incredible treasure we have? You guys want to get the communion out, please? What are we doing with this incredible treasure? God has given us this most amazing treasure. And I know a lot of us are doing stuff with it. And you know what? Keep it up. I mean it, keep it up. It's wonderful. Encourage your neighbor. Love your children. Especially the knucklehead children. You're going, they're never going to get through this, Lord. Yeah, quit that understanding. Oh, yeah, I remember when he was 3. The apple of my eye could do no wrong. Think about the little boy or little girl that was wonderful, and treat them like you treated them then. With the love and kindness. Because we all have kids that aren't walking where we wish they walked. It's just the reality of life. Jimmy and Jillian are so lucky. They have the little ones now. And it's just like, oh, they're perfect. Yes, they are. They are. They're wonderful little girls. Oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. And they do everything so wonderfully. Well, there's some things, but let's remember. Maybe what we need to do is spend a little time with the girls. today. Go hug them, say hi, and listen to them. And let them remind you of what your children are like at that age. Because come on, everybody's kid when they're little is special. Jesus went to the cross in his understanding. How could someone give their life like that? He did it from his understanding. He understood what this would mean to you and I. He didn't understand it here. Up here he said, Lord, Father, take this away, okay? Not interested. Okay, wait. Let my heart speak. Yeah, not what I want. It's what you want, Lord. What does God want for us? Where does he want us to access this understanding for those who desperately need what God has? We take the element of his body, broken, bruised, beaten up, give it. He gave it. He gave it to you. He gave it to me. He gave us his body. Let's just think about that. He gave us his body. Let's partake. The juice, the element of the blood poured out to change everything in this world, changes everything. It always has. Nothing new. Everything's brand new, but nothing new. It's been going on now we're getting pretty close to 2,000 years. About 1900 and, I'm going to say 87. If I had to pick it, 1987. Maybe 88. It's a guess. Nearly 2,000 years. What are we doing with this? Let's allow this to change our understanding. Realizing my understanding is I need to understand more about Christ and his behavior in my life and his exposure to me and what that all means. How can I honor Jesus with my life and not worry about what other people think or say or do, no matter how messed up they are? Because you know what? They're looking at us, they're watching us, and if we keep our eyes on this, if we keep focused on this, if we understand what this really does mean, you'll be shocked what happens to you. If something in the world happens, that's fine. Let's focus on you. That's what this is. You and Jesus right here, right now. Focus on this and realize what this is doing in your heart. Let us partake. Lord, I hope I did it justice. The understanding. Because it's hard. It's hard to get the head out of the way. I want the heart to come out. I know the understanding means that we let go of the stuff and we just understand you and realize that when we're focused and connected to you, the situations in life take the position that they should take. And that's second place. But when we allow the situations of life to take first place, it affects our understanding. I pray, Father, that this word will get into all of our hearts. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. That's it.